Ladies and gentlemen, hello. We have the pleasure to be back with Annagreta and her spirits. And today is a new spiritual news show, a little bit different because we are going public now. And we have a special guest, Marie Curie, the great physicist and chemist.
Yes.
But before I introduce her, hello, Annagreta. How are you doing today?
Hello. Yeah, I'm a bit nervous. We did this news show for almost 2 years or 1.5 years in a secret corner, and now we go public. And it's still for me a challenge when Jesus wants to talk. It's still difficult for me. So I felt a little bit like boxer in the ring, trying to prepare. So, but we try. We give it a try.
I understand. I would be nervous too.
So big names, so big names. Mhm.
Yeah. Very, very big
Yeah,
names.
yeah. Yeah, and I
So,
always try to get them through as good as possible. And the spirits always say they are playing a symphony. The spirits are a symphony. And a medium can be a flute or a piano or a guitar or anything. And what comes through the flute like flute, and through a drum like a drum, but we are never able to catch the whole symphony.
hmm,
So I try to be a good flute today.
yes, a good channel.
Yeah.
All right. So who would like to speak to us maybe first?
Jesus, no, not Jesus. Bernard, no. Marie Curie. Marie Curie wants to start. Yeah,
Very
maybe
good. So maybe I should give a short introduction to her.
yes,
Should
please.
I read?
Yes.
So Marie Sklodowska-Curie was a Polish and naturalized French physicist and chemist who conducted pioneering research on radioactivity. She was the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, the first person and the only woman to win the Nobel Prize twice, and the only person to win the Nobel Prize in two different scientific fields, namely in physics and in chemistry. She was born in Warsaw, Poland in 1867, and she studied at Warsaw's clandestine Flying University and began her practical scientific training in Warsaw. In 1891, aged 24, she followed her older sister Bronislava to study in Paris, where she earned her higher degrees and conducted her subsequent scientific work. She shared the 1903 Nobel Prize in Physics with her husband, Pierre Curie, and physicist Henri Becquerel. She won the 1911 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. While a French citizen, Marie Sklodowska-Curie, who used both surnames, never lost her sense of Polish identity. She taught her daughters the Polish language and took them on visits to Poland. She named the first chemical element she discovered polonium after her native country. Marie Curie died in 1934, aged 66. She died of aplastic anemia from exposure to radiation in the course of her scientific research and in the course of her radiological work at field hospitals during World War I. Voilà.
Yeah. So Marie Curie came already yesterday and today in the morning. So we tried to prepare to give me the vocabulary for her scientific um, issues. And Yeah, let's try. So the first question was from Jennifer White.
Yes, Jennifer, she said,
I think it's
now that you are with infinite intelligence, meaning she's in a spirit form, do you have the answers to your questions about radiation? What can you tell us about radiation treatments, like the treatments we use, to cure cancer with radiation?
okay. Hello, bonjour. It's my pleasure to talk to you. It's a long time that I was able to speak to human beings. I spoke a lot in universities to mostly male listeners. My language was with a Polish accent in French, so I try to deal this time in English. The discovery of the radioactivity was my task. That's what I lived for, and to prove the radiation. This was one issue. The other issue was the other task I had was to break in a male domain and prove men the radiation of my own spirit, so to speak. And this was an even bigger task than discover the radiation of the uranium, discover the polonium. Mm. The scientific research that I undertook was from a passion that I had when I came into this world. I was a scientific nature, and I wanted to demonstrate um, how far how far we could come in any form of our appearance, in that case as women, as a lady. This was appointment, this was a plan of many women at that time. It was 1900 to the 1920s, 1930s that many women incarnated to fight for women's rights. And this was a plan. Yes, we were some characters that were proven to be strong. So we were those women who had a lot of male incarnations. So many of us were already soldiers or army leaders or pioneers in many ways. I, for example, had been a pioneer in discovering and urbanizing USA. So it was easy for me to leave a country and start in a new one. I was also, of course, a male scientist, so to enter the world of science was not a big thing for me. So we showed up in all focus in all trendy cities like London, Paris, like Munich and New York, all influential places. And the strongest and the bravest came. I chose the scientific way because it's it is the final proof that a female brain has the intelligence and the ability to think. I didn't use a character that was very male dominant with a loud voice, or taking my fist, or copying a man. Neither did I use any sexual attraction, um, any sexual aspects. I was convincing with a pure focus on what I could and was able to do. Of course, I had a partner, which was my husband, and Pierre, he was prepared to be my husband. He was one of those who couldn't stand this male superior thing himself. So we incarnated together because I could do it easier with the man on my side, and I loved him very much and loved him dearly. So this was the second task. Now I'm on the other side, and research is not such a big thing anymore, like in this world, because we access all that is in an infinite data bank. We can access everything, yet science is still fascinating for me. And yes, we still work here on the other side with studying and deciding what news could we bring through to those scientists that are open for our inspiration. I was in that way proud to get a Nobel Prize. More of all, I was proud to make a breakthrough for women scientists. The other thing was the radium, that I was quite obsessed with, because I thought this is the ultimate healing a tool for healing. And so we did overgo some hints that it was dangerous. So in one way, I made a big progress and a big step for the science in chemistry, but on the other hand, we brought a lot of suffering through the misuse of radium. We were over convinced that this is the new thing, and after all, it turned out that it was very poisoning, and I myself paid the price with ending my life in the age of 67 years. But it also was time for me. The infinite answers to all chemistry, chemical elements, lies still in the research of the people, and there is still a lot to discover. And if you ask for help, we can influence your progress in studying that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marie Curie. Can we ask another question, or?
Yeah, I think she's still online. She's waiting. Yes.
Okay. Very good. So, another question from Jennifer. She wants to know, what can you tell us, Marie Curie, about the coming vaccines against the COVID-19 virus. Is there anything that we should be careful about concerning these vaccines?
Okay. Please understand that I have a scientific standpoint. Please understand that we were always interested in solutions. So the original motivation for creating vaccine was to reduce human suffering. And when the first came out against the pox, we were cheering this discovery from this group of scientists. When Mr. Koch found the tubercle, we were cheering him up. When Mr. Fleming found penicillin, we were cheering him up. So it was all the intention to reduce human suffering, and it helped. So those vaccines against polio, for example, they were very beneficial for humanity. So the discovery um, and the scientific research was the one thing. The distribution and producing was the other thing. And when those things show up, then there can show up a falsification. There come company interest in play, and there come people at play that are not so much interested in reducing human suffering, but more to benefit in a financial way. And there comes there come the problems. So for nowadays, we hear the discussion about the vaccines, and we would say that the single vaccines have a huge benefit. You don't want to have the return or a comeback of the polio. But what we are facing today is the cocktail of vaccines that have to be examined. The cocktails are detrimental. You do not use all those vaccines. Some of the vaccines are for diseases that are almost banned from the human earth. You should have only the most heavy diseases vaccinated, and one by one, not all together. With the COVID-19 vaccination, there's a lot of conspiracy going on. And we can tell from our point of view, we do not see that it will be mandatory. We don't see that you are manipulated to become victims of some dark evil forces. Yet you have to take care who is going to sell you that. Is it the right dose? Is it scientifically proved? Is there a big stock market involved? What kind of marketing do they use to make you use it? And before you take a vaccine, just check out if you do not have enough antibody already in it, so you don't need it. All in all, it's always a mixture from those beneficial effects for reducing human suffering and the organizations that want to make money and influence you in a way that you get more sick as healthy. There are forces behind the scenes that try to get the most benefit of you. And they are similar like those big farmers who have cows in a way too small barn and use them to produce meat and do not respect the divine sacred nature of the animals. Their mindset is similar like that, and they know when they have you in a weak position, they can manipulate you easier. That is a sad fact. But there are also forces going on to reduce their influence into your world. So don't be afraid. Use your feelings if you need a vaccine or not. But know that scientists are, of course, they also want to have good name and maybe win a Nobel Prize or become famous, historic personality for their discovery. But usually they are nerds and want to do something to reduce your suffering. So have a um, point of view which includes multiple standpoints and different angles of views. Hmm. After all, you should come to a new stage where you are able to influence your immune system yourself, where you learn to get stronger by a loving understanding of your body, mind, and by um, mastering the mental forms, the thought forms that are surrounding you, so that you get a strong immune system and not to um, invite the viruses and detrimental microbes and all that stuff. That will be the next step for humanity. Thank
Thank you very much, Marie Curie.
you. Yeah.
How are you feeling, Annagreta?
I'm here.
Yeah, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, very focused to bring the right words through.
Wonderful. You're doing a great job. Great job. Do you think we can ask one more question, or?
Which question was the next about 5G?
There's one about 5G, and then there's one about how what was her experience when she transitioned to the non-physical dimension.
Okay, what does she want to say? We leave it to her what she wants to answer. Maybe she can do two in one.
Okay.
My dears, it should be interesting for you what happens with you and your ether and your air and the electricity in your air with all those VLAN and rays. What happens with all those rays before 5G comes? We do think that you have already too much rays in your little worlds. It is not only the VLAN and your mobile phones. It can be a stove, your new stoves with an induction field that have such a strong electromagnetic field that it influences your systems. And what happens already is that your um, beautiful and sensitive systems are disturbed. Your systems are sensitive and they are made for receiving signals from the non-spirit, from the spiritual world, from the non-physical world, and to get signals from nature and get signals from other beings. So your system should be balanced and healed and supported, and with the interference of the electrical system you get distracted, or some of your mm, brain function, for example, or some points in your systems get overstimulated. And if one part gets overstimulated, the system gets out of balance, and you do not have to have enough time for the other body parts, and so you come out of balance. And some organs probably produce too much adrenaline, or the blood and the nerve system, the blood cells can be influenced. So the organs and your system is reacting, and not as strong as it was if it only lived in the fields and under the trees. You all are perfect communication systems with the spiritual world and also to each other. You all have a perfect equipment in your system to communicate with spirits, or to communicate with relatives over long distance, like telepathy or telekinesis. There are many things you could do, but you are not aware of it, and you got trained out of that. It is like you have a mobile phone with an app and you don't know what this app is for, and you ignore the app or just don't know how to use it. But the ability and the equipment is there. To develop those abilities would be more beneficial than have new um, a 5G system that even makes the radiation stronger and the interference stronger, and maybe cut you from your spiritual abilities. So this is a warning over here. If you can do anything to reduce those 5G efforts, that would be beneficial for all of you. We do not blame the scientists. As I am a scientist, I cannot blame those who are just happy to be on the new technical development, who are so proud that they discovered something new and who want to improve uh, the technique and the possibilities to receive news or films, or have benefits for the companies. So they are just happy to make a new discovery, like I was happy when I discovered the radium and then it was a failure. So this is mm, the same mindset. I cannot judge my colleagues who discovered that and are proud to use it. But as always, like with the discovery of the atoms, you can use it for good and you can use it for bad. And what those technical freaks or technical renewers just did not realize, once the 5G is installed, it can be misused with frequencies. You can easily access those frequencies and put some detrimental vibrations into it. Those who know mind control, those who know hypnosis, those who think they are the secret leaders of the world, they know all those techniques. I don't want to frighten you, I just want to give you a hint that those things happen. You know about frequencies in that way that, for example, a song makes you feel happy and another song makes you feel bad. You know, for example, when you watch a horror movie and suddenly you hear those mourning female voices, mourning and sighing wives in the background, then you suddenly get this feeling of horror. And some sounds you don't even hear, like a dog hears the dog whistle. And that can happen in those 5G frequencies, that they just put in some frequencies that you are not aware of but make you bad, feel bad and weak. And when you get out of power and out of spiritual connection, they can manipulate you much easier. That sounds all like a crazy conspiracy theory that Marie Curie should not talk about. I should talk about the science and about the crystals and the atomic and how the elements are created and what other elements we can discover as well. But if you ask me like that, with the overview that I have, I would tell you try to publish articles against that. Try, we know Matei is working on that field, and give the people a natural feeling that this is not good. Too much ray can cause blood cancer, migraine, all kinds of disturbance in your systems, tumors even. But if you want to protect yourself, please know that you cannot be influenced negatively in any way if you care for your own vibration and be happy 24/7. You can train that. You can train that and use it like the app on your phone. You never use it. You can train your spiritual abilities. And so you are connected with highest forces. And no 5G, no 6G, no 7G can harm you in any way. Um, yeah, that's what I have to tell with 5G. Thank you for asking me. There are more scientists like me who are trying to influence the investigative journalists to speak about that and give them ideas and give them scientific background to prove their insights. Wait a second.
Thank you for that answer, Marie Curie. Is it possible for us to ask you? This was a question from Jonas. How was your transition to the other side? Did you expect that you would continue to be alive in a sense?
Yes, my dears, I'm going to answer this. I prepared this being already in the morning. So when I died, I was my last days in the hospital, surrounded by people who were regretting that I was feeling so bad. Well, I knew I was going to die. I was always realistic. I was never trying to blurry my mind and hoping for something better. I was also praying a little bit on the end because I was hoping that something comes after, but I was not sure. My mindset was a little bit of regret, as I told you, happy that I fulfilled my task and made some discovery. I could have also discovered something else. It was about discovery in general. It had not had to be the radioactivity, but it was just a field that was open for me at that time. But I could clearly see the damage that has done by the misuse of the radium. And I was questioning myself, could I not have see that coming? Was I not too over ambitious and the willing to help and create something really big to heal all diseases? Shouldn't I not have been more critical? And couldn't I have seen the symptoms coming earlier, even on my own body? I should have be more attentive and look where's the negative impact of that. Excuse me. So I was a bit in regret, and others around me were regretting that they didn't have a warning and that I paid the price. On the other hand, I knew that even my dad was beneficial for science and they could have their conclusions from that. When I crossed over and closed my eyes and crossed over, I was a bit disoriented and I could clearly feel that I was not in my body anymore. I was above my body and I was feeling not bad, not regretting anymore. I was free from what I had felt in the last days before my passing over. And I could see it was an interesting state where I was, and I think I was crossing over, and then I heard a voice. It was my beloved Pierre, and I knew it was him. I knew it was his real living voice. I'm still very touched when I think of that. And so I had no other feelings. I was going to him. I still loved him so much. And then he came in a physical, non-physical form. So there was still the energy field, and I could clearly see him as a young man and as beautiful and as without all the burdens, without all um, anger or doubts or age. It was the holy, sacred form of Pierre. And I was happy to see him, and he was there. Then my father, my mother came, and it was such a revival and reunion. So I was so happy. I was so happy. I was so relieved that this life is going on and it was possible to see us again. So this already was my paradise. I had not needed anything anymore. But then the ultimate light came, this holy, sacred, overwhelming, loving light to invite me, and I was melting with the light. And this is the joyous feeling that ever anybody can imagine, that ever anybody can imagine. So I was melting with my source again. And of course, you want to know about the live review, and yes, I was invited to do it together with the Lord. And I was able to see my life in a different angle. I could see the effect of my work until the last corner of the world. I was very impressed how this small existence of my life. I knew I was something as I won the Nobel Prize, as I was only woman in that field of male domain. Uh, but I didn't have an idea how huge the effect was and how it influenced so many minds. I could not only see the effect of my work, I could also see the sideways I could have taken to discover, for example, other elements, or move to London and stay there, or go back to Poland. So there were many sideways I could have taken, and I could see them as if I had lived them with all the effects and the finally success it had taken on this, or even the failure, but the results of the sideways, whether I had taken them. So, for you, my dears, who are listening to me, I don't know if I ever have the possibility to speak to you again, but I want to say, in terms of your life that you are living, please, please live your lives to the fullest potential. There's nothing sadder than a potential that is not used and a life that is not lived. You will see afterwards all the possibilities that you have in your lives, and not to use them is a thing that probably makes you sad. So use the gifts and use your full potential. Spirits are waiting to influence you. Spirits are waiting to open you up and encourage you. And please look inside yourself and watch for the slightest glimpse, for the slightest little light that may shine you, show you the way to the next step in your incarnation, or the way to the next sideway, or the way to the highway of your existence. Every little love in your soul, every little shining light can show you the way where your soul wants to go. So use it, be brave, and remember, I was used for the women's rights because I was strong enough to not sit in the corner and whine and cry for every hit that I take. We were fighters who knew to overcome disappointment and pain and animosity and negative clouds. So maybe you think about to be strong enough and not sit in the corner whining about every difficulty. Just stand up and move forward. That's the most easy way to overcome every negativity, and it will strengthen you. So use your life for the benefit for all of humanity, to reduce suffering for humanity, and give your divine potential to the humanity, and you will always enjoy your past life review. Lots of love from the highest to all of you. Thank you for listening to me. This was Marie Curie, Polish French existence at that time, and now a freed soul. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marie Curie, for coming to speak to us.
Yeah. Woo.
Wow, that was very interesting.
Yeah, I think this morning she came already and said, for example, that she died in a hospital, and immediately I googled and looked, did she really die in a hospital? Yes, she did. and other links to things. And I think it was interesting when she talked about the sideways. She could look in her past life review. Yeah.
Mhm. All very fascinating. Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Do you think anybody else has a message, or should we?
Yeah. So excuse me, my mind is a little bit,
Yeah, sure.
I,
I can take the opportunity to tell the viewers that Annagreta
yes.
is um, offering sessions of channeling, so one-on-one sessions. And I had a few sessions with her, and they were very, very valuable and very enriching for me. You can get a lot of guidance. You can learn about previous lives you might have had, and it's a very fun experience also. So if you want to have a session with Annagreta, you can contact her through the website, her website, spiritsofanagreta.com, and you will find the contact page there for your contact, how to say, for you to contact her. And there's also a channeling class that she offers. There's a group that has been put together, but you're free to join that channeling class if you want to learn how to channel. And Annagreta is there to help you. And that you can learn about also through the website here on the bottom of the screen.
Yes. That's what you can do. And we see what spirits want to tell you. Uh, yeah, I think now I'm better now. My brain is better. If you want to have somebody you are interested in to hear, you can write us on the comment function or on the Facebook, excuse me, and ask for a person that you are interested in. Not all spirits want to talk; some just say no, but we can always ask. So, okay. Anybody else? Oh yes, oh yes. So, um, in our shows, we have usually two or three, usually three guests, but Marie Curie now took a lot of room, so I don't know. But I think my old friend is coming. Let's see. Mm, okay. My dears, although it's hard for Annagreta to speak out, although she is sweating and fears the audience, although all those issues that take place in her body mind system, I again tell you, I am the one you call Jesus. And I love to talk to you. I love to be with you in all those times. I am in your times anyway. But you probably think it is not possible to access me or to talk with me in person, like you talk with your neighbor or a school friend. But you are. When you pray, you access the sacred realms. When you pray, you open a channel. When you pray, like monks pray in the monasteries, for example, then you open a sacred field. And this is nothing special. The mistake is that you think it's something special. But you all are having this ability. You all are able to communicate with me, with your past ways, with spirits you adore. Many spirits are behind you and go with you through your daily lives, and you do not realize that. You realize from time to time some goosebumps, gum bumps, or a special fragrance. You feel a wind in your hair, and those are your loving spirits. They communicate with you through feelings. You all know those feelings that you, the day before, you told yourself, tomorrow I'm going to go shopping at 11 o'clock. At 2, I answer my emails. At 4, I do this inconvenient telephone call to my aunt or to my boss or whatever comes in your mind. You sleep, and the next day, you know you can't call your aunt today. And you know 11 o'clock is total wrong time for shopping. That is because you communicated with your spirits through the night and they turned your plan upside down because the shopping mall is not good for you today because there might be some unpleasant people there, or they want to give you the chance to discover something in the internet that is at the same time. There are many communications behind the scenes that you do already. Now, when you go in your sacred space of your heart, in your silence, in your meditation, when you're calm, your crazy minds, your overactive minds, your 10 million thoughts you have over the day, when you are able to make them silent, then you can access us all. You might have suddenly a picture in your mind that makes you feel happy, or you might have a sound in your ear. You might have a feeling of comfort. You will activate your third eye, and suddenly you see holy figures or tune in conversations with your higher spirits, with your oversoul. All those things are possible, and we are speaking through mediums, through many mediums now who are brave to open up, to remind you to those abilities. When you are now influenced by so many devices, electronical devices, and probably the 5Gs, then it's more than necessary that you develop a direct contact to me, to your Lord, to God, to any source you feel familiar with. And we can strengthen you beyond your understanding. We can strengthen you and show you your way and guide you through all the million interferences that are now swirling around, through the over amount of messages, shared information, through the email accounts and the newsletters and the WhatsApp um, friends, uh, through the tens of thousands of sensation your brain has to work through a day. We can reach you and calm your mind. I would just ask you, go back to simple prayers. Go back to calling my name. Go back to ask your guardian angel for protection. Be as simple as a child. Go back to sacred places and free yourself from overthinking. Go back into your hearts because that's the place where you find me, and I'm living in your hearts and souls. So close, like the beat of your heart. That's what I want to tell you. I am the beat of your heart. I bless you, my beings. I bless you on your not so easy tasks in your life, but know that we are always with you. We, your guardian angels, your, your teachers, your guides, all, all divine spirits and God Himself. We are always with you, always, until the end of your time. So I think that's it. I don't think that any other spirit comes through. No. Matei, are you
Yes.
there?
You're back. That was beautiful. Well done, Annagreta. Thank you so much for bringing through those two beautiful souls. Woo.
Always me something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I should not whining. Marie Curie said we should not sit whining in the corner. We can take some hints. I was police woman.
Very courageous. Both of you are very courageous.
We pretend to be.
That's
But if Martin Luther King, when he came through, he sometimes said he was afraid sometimes.
Totally normal. That's what being human is about also. Feeling all those emotions.
Yes, right.
All right.
And Marie Curie said, she said, live your full potential. And I fully very inspiring. But I also know those young beings who fail, who are too afraid, and who just have problems to keep themselves alive. And they go back, they will find only total love. There is no condemnation, there's only love and understanding. And for many souls, it is very brave to just be here in this world. This world. Yeah.
Absolutely. There's only love on the other side.
Yeah. We have to love through our systems and send it into the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we can do at every moment that we choose to be some channels for love and light.
Right.
And be the light of the world, as Jesus said. The lights of the world. Okay, should we say goodbye? Or not
That
yet?
was that. I run out of fluid. So take care, my dears. Come safe through Corona. Help the Black Power. And if we all spread love, we can have a gorgeous future and the love revolution around the world.
That's it. That's what's happening right now. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye bye, everybody. Thank you for watching.
Yes, thank you.
Bye.
Mate. Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.